Okay, November 3rd, I'm getting ready to change the oil and winterize the engine. I'm going to try to make a video of this and give a tutorial. First thing is to grab engine access. Alright, there she is. And there's the intake. Alright, next step is take off the intake hose to the engine. Okay, now with the hose off, throw a bucket down here, insert some clear PVC, and I just pull this back and tighten it up. I like to throw a lobster trap weight down there to keep it in the bottom of the bucket. Now I'm going to haul the hose up and get it down there in the bucket. Oh, here's just a little side thing. So we've got battery 1 at just under 13. We've got battery 2 at just under 13. That way we can test the alternator. Okay, now I'm filling the bucket so that I can start the engine up. I'll get it pretty much all the way to the top. Alright, so the bucket's ready, but as soon as I start the engine, I'm going to need to go back there and make sure that the water's running so that it doesn't run dry. Okay, so it's pretty stable. We're in neutral, and the hose is keeping up with the engine, although it's starting to work its way over there. And that little whistle is keeping it on since. And we'll take a look off the stern. There's the check up top, and then down below we've got the exhaust. Okay, I'm going to give her some more RPMs. Had to take her back to neutral. The hose can't keep up with that high of RPMs. Gonna have to stop the engine for a second so it can catch up. Alright, when I threw it up to 2,000 RPMs, it started to suck the bucket dry, so I had to let it catch up here. Once it catches up, I'll turn it back on and run it kind of in neutral until the engine's up to temperature, and then I will dump my antifreeze in the bottom of the bucket after I turn off the fresh water. Oh, one other thing I'll do. Oops, I better start the engine again. Alright, with the engine and alternator running, I'm going to recheck the batteries. Battery 1. Battery 2. Check, check. Okay, she's been running for about 15-20 minutes now, so it's time to give her antifreeze. And there you have it. Next step will be an oil change. Alright, now that we have the engine all heated up and the oil is nice and warm, the next step in the winterizing process is to change the oil. So for this, I've got my oil pump, I've got a rag, and I've got an old antifreeze container to put the old engine oil in. She takes 2 liters of SAE 30 oil. Trying to get a close-up of the dipstick. It's right there. So I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to put the little hose down in. Alright, so the long, kind of not very flexible hose is down in the dipstick hole. The big hose is in the antifreeze container. I got my pump right here, starting to fill it up with oil. One thing to keep in mind is that hose is really long, so it takes a little while and a little bit of pumping to prime it before the oil starts flowing. Just a heads up. Alright, and this is how the pumping's done, nice and slow. Just pull up. You'll feel a lot of force there, and it's sucking the oil through. Then you go down nice and slow, pump up. She's filling up quickly. Hold it there for a little while. The oil is kind of thick, so it needs to go through the hose, so it's nice and slow. There we go, we're filling up quick. It's about 1 liter down. 1 liter to go. Okay, again for the records, this is November 3rd, 2015. Doing the oil change, and I just started after it's been about 15, maybe 20, slow and steady. Now all of a sudden I'm getting no resistance because it's sucking air. So what I do is I take that long hose and fish around down there in the bottom of the oil pan, make sure there's nothing nothing left over, so we can get nice fresh oil in there. And I'll do that for a little while here, and then go ahead and pop the dipstick back in and fill her with fresh oil. Okay, dipstick's back in, and she's ready for new oil. And just so there's no confusion, right there is the oil fill, not to be confused with the coolant. Alright, this is worth showing just because I like to put rags around everything before I pour the oil, but it is, if you come in from the engine access this way, it is really easy to get the oil right in there. So, good to have rags in case, but if you do it this way, you're not likely to have any real spill. Oops, I'm still filming. Oh, might as well show a close-up. Can't really see, but... Okay, just check the dipstick, and with exactly 2 liters, she's topped off and perfect. Good to go. Done.